Why, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Truly Odd podcast, where we bring you the latest in game news and movie news. I am your host, Joe Garcia. So grab your controllers, get your popcorn, and let's go ahead and dive right on in, shall we? Starting with our game news topics of the day. And our first game news topic of the day is regarding Battlefield 6 encouraging players to uninstall its campaign. Let's go ahead and take a look here and read to you guys some of the details. Battlefield 6 introduces a module installment system prompting players to uninstall the single player campaign after finishing its 9 missions to free up space on the PS5, Xbox, and PC. While the campaign received criticism for its weak story, the multiplayer has been widely praised, contributing to the game's strong launch. Battlefield 6 is currently the top selling physical game in the UK. I don't think it'll make it to the US top sales because US, we got crazy Madden games and stuff like that. But I do think it's interesting. I like seeing games do this. I know Call of Duty did it first with the being able to uninstall the campaign and focus on the multiplayer. But I do wish more multiplayer games could do this, or more games that have kind of features like that where you can play only certain aspects of the game, because freeing up space on the console is very important. But I do like that Battlefield has introduced a system where they offer you the chance to uninstall it after you finish it. So I think that's pretty cool. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move over to our next game news topic of the day. And our next game news topic of the day is regarding Call of Duty Black Ops 7 beta achieved 99% cheat-free matches with Ricochet. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Anti-cheat. Let's go ahead and take a look here, guys. It looks like Activision reports that Ricochet anti-cheat system reached peak performance during the Black Ops 7 beta, detecting cheaters within 3 matches and securing nearly 99% of lobbies by the end of the playtest. Despite early, excuse me guys, I lost my place here. Despite early hacking activities, the October 2nd through 9th beta was praised for rapid improvements and fan request changes, including the removal of skill-based matchmaking in favor of traditional systems. Black Ops 7 will release across both current and last gen platforms on November 14th. So, while I've been hearing that there was a hell of a lot of cheaters during the Black Ops 7 beta, I haven't heard any regards to them freeing up 99%, but this is according to Activision, so take that with a grain of salt, because who knows? Because if from what players were seeing with all the cheaters going on during the open beta for Call of Duty, just imagine now that they know how the anti-cheat system works, how they're going to be able to improve that when the game is actually released. Now, I'm not sure if 99% is actually accurate. I hope it is, because that just means that we're getting that much closer to finding out how to stop cheating. I know Battlefield right now is dealing with that issue with people cheating in the game, so we'll have to wait and see. And I don't even know why that many people are interested in cheating. Why don't you just fucking play the game? It's ridiculous, man. But we'll see what ends up happening. I think they're full of shit with the 99%, but I really, really hope they're being honest about that, because that would be very, very nice for them to catch that many cheaters and boot them. Well, my question is, are they going to boot these people forever? Like, what is the actual punishment when you get caught cheating with this system? I'd be curious to know. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All right, guys, we're getting right through these games, aren't we? Moving on to our next game news topic of the day. It looks like Sucker Punch is going to be remaining a single project studio even after Ghost of Yotei has wrapped. Let's go ahead and take a look here. And what does a single project studio actually mean? That just means that they're going to focus on one project at a time and not spread themselves thin with working on 2 or 3 different projects. Anyways, co-founder Brian Fleming confirmed Sucker Punch will continue its single project approach, choosing its next title only after Ghost of Yotei's Legends launches in 2026. I think that's their multiplayer feature that they originally introduced with Ghost of Tsushima. Excuse me, guys. Fleming emphasizes the importance of focus and interaction. Iteration? Jesus, dyslexia kicks in hard sometimes, guys. Anyways, start that again. Fleming emphasizes the importance of focus and iteration, stating the team only gets one shot every 5 years, making each project selection a major commitment. While no decisions have been made, Fleming acknowledges that fan interests in Sly Cooper, Infamous, and a potential third Ghost game, leaving room for speculation of what is next. So, I think this is very smart for the studio to stay a single project game. Now, I know they have great IPs, and I know people are very, very interested in seeing what other games that they could work on. And I know they want more than just the one game every 5 years from the studio, because Sucker Punch is one of the best studios that Sony has under them, if you ask me. But focusing on one project is very important, because not only do you not spread yourself thin, not only are you able to do this one project and not have to cancel it because you've spent too much money on it, you don't have enough resources to continue it or anything else. We've seen this past year so many layoffs, so many people, so many projects just get canceled. People wasted their time on these things, and people will never be able to see that the work that they put into it. And Sucker Punch is not going to do that. And I think that's awesome. Now, from my understanding, the Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yotei were both $60 million to produce, and have now grossed over who knows how much money for Ghost of Tsushima, but Ghost of Yotei is already really doing successful. So to know that, knowing that their next game will probably be another $60 million Ghost game, if I'm being honest, it makes sense for them to do a trilogy. They've focused on trilogies with Infamous, so it makes sense for them to do one more Ghost game, which I hope they end up doing. But I do think that it's a benefit for this studio to maintain the one project thing. Even though, even for my selfish reasons, I would love to see them to work on more than one game at a time, just so I can get more than one game every 5 years. But I do think this is more beneficial for the studio and for the people that work there. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Do you think it's sad that they're going to be focusing on one game at a time every 5 years? Do you wish they would spread themselves a little thin, maybe do 2 games every 5 years? Let me know what you guys think. All right, guys. That being said, let's go ahead and move over to our next game news topic of the day. And our next game news topic of the day is regarding Assassin's Creed boss Marc-Alexis Côté, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, has departed from Ubisoft after a 20-year tenure. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article here. Following Ubisoft's restructuring and a formation of Vanguard Studios with Tencent, Marc-Alexis Côté chose to leave the company rather than join the new leadership team. Over the course of 2 decades, Côté helped shape Assassin's Creed through key roles in titles like Brotherhood, Odyssey, and Shadows, and was instrumental in launching the franchise's roadmap. He exits, coming shortly after Ubisoft's canceled a potential political sensitive Assassin's Creed project. Oh, I think that's the one that was rumored that they were going to fight against the KKK. And amid ongoing discussions around Shadows, where am I at? Côté. I don't need to read the rest of that. Anyways, sorry guys, I was just reading it in my head and I figured it wasn't important. But it's very interesting knowing that this guy who's been there for a very, very long time with this studio has decided to move. 20 years is a long time to be with a company and to work on projects. And to feel like the studio is not going in a creative way that where they want to keep you, or to not work with the new leadership in the new studio that's going to be formed. I'm curious why they didn't ask him beforehand if he'd be willing to go to the new studio and either run the studio or be maybe a creative director at the studio. I'm very curious what was going on there creatively. I think that whatever's happening caused him to leave. And that's going to be very interesting to find out what exactly that was. Now, I don't think we have many comments from him, but I'm very interested in seeing what he has to say. So I'm sure down the line we're going to see some interviews with him and see what he has to say regarding what's going on at Ubisoft. But I think the Vanguard Studio approach that Ubisoft is making with Tencent's probably not to the betterment of their game development process. So I'm very curious what's going to be going on there. That, or they might have wanted to keep him under the Ubisoft banner and not under the Vanguard banner to work on the Assassin's Creed game. So there's so many different things that could have happened regarding this story and regarding what's going on over there with this studio. But it's very interesting to know that someone's going to be leaving after 20 years of being somewhere. Now, I don't know if he's going to retire or if he's going to be moving on to another studio. We'll have to keep our eyes out to see what's going to happen. But from my understanding, while I fell off on Assassin's Creed after Assassin's Creed Black Flag, it seems to be a very successful franchise regarding everything going on with Odyssey, not Vanguard, what's it called? Ragnarok. Was it Ragnarok or is that? Anyways, all the Assassin's Creed games have been very successful, and he's been a part of that. So to see them just let him go like that, I mean, I know they can't make him stay, but money talks. So I'm very curious as to what the creative decision was there. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. All right, guys, moving over to our last game news topic of the day. And our last game news topic of the day is going to be chalked up to the rumor mill, so take what I say with a grain of salt. But it's currently rumored that the PlayStation 6 leaks suggest that a 2027 launch is underway and manufacturings may begin earlier next year. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article here from Game Rant. So, hardware leaker Maurice Law is dead. Moore's Law is dead. Excuse me, I said Maurice. I don't know why I said that. Anyways, hardware leaker Moore's Law is dead claims Sony will begin manufacturing the PlayStation 6 in early 2027, with a launch later that year, contributing to early speculation and contradicting the other early speculation of a 2028 release. So after Mark Cerny's announcement for the kind of hardware and the tech that they were working on, we talked about this, I believe, last week or the week before. There was speculation that a 2028 launch will be taking place. But according to this person, it looks like a lot of the manufacturing is going to be taking place in early 2027. Now, I want you to take this with a grain of salt for multiple reasons. One, I'm not sure what his source is exactly. And number two, because even if you start manufacturing in early 2027, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be released that same year. And the reason for that is manufacturing starts at the prototype phase. Some of the manufacturing you need multiple prototype steps, multiple prototype phases to see how things are running. Now, I'm pretty sure, and then, okay, I don't want to get too into detail about how I know this, but also, that manufacturing phase not only includes prototypes of the final product, but it may also include dev kits. If you don't know what dev kits are essentially, it's a PlayStation 5, let's just say the PlayStation 5, and it's created a certain way so developers can make games for them. And those are called dev kits. Now, the manufacturing process may also include the dev kit manufacturing. So let's say he is accurate that the manufacturing is going to begin in early 2027. That manufacturing process may include the dev kit manufacturing. Now, I think that's a little too late if the game's going to be released, if the console's going to be releasing in 2027. But if they do the manufacturing in 2027 for the dev kits, that leaves them with a year or so to give the dev kits out to other studios who are developing for the game and stuff like that. Now, they can tell the studios, it's going to be similar hardware to the PS5, and then do the troubleshooting as they get their dev kits for the PlayStation 6. So I think that's what's happening here. So I think we might be seeing it in 2028, but who knows? Well, it depends on when dev kits are going to be available. If dev kits are available now, which I very much doubt, it might be happening next year in 2026. It all varies. So just want to let you guys know that. Anyways, that being said, this article does have the video of them discussing. Now, this is a long, I think 2.5 hour discussion, and they talk about a lot of different aspects. Now, I did focus here on the part where it says new leaks PlayStation 6, but I didn't really hear much regarding information that's very important. But let me go ahead and finish off some of the details here. The PlayStation 6, sorry, let me just say PlayStation 6. PS6 is throwing off my stupid brain. The PlayStation 6 may feature a small form factor and improved cooling efficiency, potentially keeping the price close to the PlayStation 5 despite the next-gen upgrade. Additional leaks suggest that Sony may launch a new handheld device alongside the PlayStation 6, marking 2027 as a major milestone year for PlayStation hardware. 2027, not 2026. Sorry. All these numbers and words are getting me confused, guys. Forgive me. But I do think it's very interesting that someone would get these leaks. Now, I don't know what his connections are to. Maybe he knows some manufacturers. Maybe he knows some insiders at Sony that would be releasing this information. But I'm assuming that if it's released in 2027, I don't think it'll be because of the manufacturing, unless they don't manufacture through the same place where they do the dev kits. We'll have to wait and see what is going to end up happening. Hopefully, we'll get a reminder towards the holiday of 2026. Will give us an update of what we're going to be seeing for next year, but we'll have to wait another year to figure that out. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think we're going to be getting the PlayStation 6 in 2027 or 2028? Of course, you'd prefer 2027 like anyone else, but which one do you actually think will be occurring? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All right, guys, that does it for our game news topics. We're going to go ahead and move over to our movie news topics. And our first movie news topic is regarding Lucy Liu's Rosemead gains global momentum ahead of its December US release. Now, I've been hearing a lot regarding this movie in Lucy Liu, and I think it's one of her sons. Not in real life, but for the movie. Anyways, Picture Tree has acquired global sales rights for Rosemead, which premieres in the US theaters on December 5th and has already won major festival awards. Directed by Aaron Lin and written by Berlin Fu, the film stars Lucy Liu as a mother confronting her son's violent impulses, earning her widespread acclaim and multiple career honors across global festivals. With upcoming with an upcoming premieres in Mexico, Brazil, Germany, and the UK, Rosemead continues its international rollout while vertical launches and awards campaign. Sorry, guys. I'm assuming that Lucy Liu might be up for an Oscar for this role. That's how much I've been hearing about it. And I just thought it was interesting because I love Lucy Liu. She was one of my first crushes growing up, and I think she's an absolutely phenomenal actress. And I just really, really can't wait to see her performance, and I hope she gets the recognition she deserves with a possible Oscar nomination or even was it Golden Globe, whatever other damn nominations there might be going on. So I'm very interested in seeing how this movie turns out and what this movie is going to be about. I haven't even been able to see a trailer for this, so if you guys know of a trailer, please send it my way. I'm very curious to see what this movie is going to be about. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. All right, guys, moving on to our next movie news topic. And our next movie news topic is regarding Netflix is bringing Netflix's Being Eddie documentary celebrates Eddie Murphy's 50-year career and premieres on November 12th. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Being Eddie explores Eddie Murphy's journey from teenage stand-up prodigy to Hollywood legend, offering unprecedented access to his personal reflection of his home life, directed by Oscar winner Angus Wall. The documentary features tributes from peers like Dave Chappelle, Jamie Foxx, Jerry Seinfeld, and Tracy Ellis Ross, highlighting Murphy's cultural impact and enduring charisma. Guys. The film debuts on Netflix on November 12, 2025, offering a comprehensive look at Murphy's nearly 5-decade career and a legacy of his genre-defining performance. Sorry, guys. Dyslexia kicks in all the fucking time. Anyways, but I do think this is interesting. I didn't even know we were going to be getting an Eddie Murphy documentary. And if you see some of these images here, you see him with Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, Tracy Morgan. And then here's some older pictures. I think this is his brother, Charlie Murphy. And then this is Eddie when he was younger. Creepy ass puppet doll. I could never. But I do think this is interesting, hearing about his life and his stand-up. I think it's good for people that are interested in getting into a career like this to take a look at stuff like this and really, really just, embed themselves in what it took for someone to be such a star and to grow in this industry. And it's possible for anyone to do so. So I love documentaries like this, and I'd be very to hear aspects of his life that I had no idea about. And I really hope that because Charlie Murphy, I think, was hilarious. I loved him in the Chappelle Show, and I really hope that they really highlight him and emphasize his impact into Eddie's life. So hopefully we can hear more about that. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. All right, guys, moving over to our next movie news topic of the day. And our next movie news topic is regarding Mel Gibson has recast lead roles for The two-part sequel to the Resurrection of Christ set for 2027. Sadly, Jim Caviezel will no longer be playing Jesus, and it looks like he's recast other people as well. Over 20 years after the Passion of the Christ, Mel Gibson has recasted all major roles for the Resurrection of Christ, with Joaquin Haltana, I'm pronouncing his name horribly wrong, as Jesus, and Marilyn Garlic, excuse me. Anyways, there's other people's names. I'm not going to butcher them all, but a bunch of fucking people got recast. Joining the ensemble. Production is underway in Italy, with Gibson opting for a fresh cast due to the time gap and high cost of de-aging original actors like Jim Caviezel. Gibson spent 8 years developing the script, describing the sequel as a theological complex epic with explore a theological complex epic that explores salvation, history, and cosmic spiritual conflict. Jeez, I struggled through that last part. It kicked in hard there, guys. But I think this is sad news. I was actually excited to see Jim Caviezel return for a Passion of the Christ sequel. I just think he did a phenomenal job in the original. And even though, yeah, he needed to be DH and stuff like that, I would have been totally fine and just accepted the fact that he looked older, just because I think his performance was absolutely phenomenal. So I think it's sad that they're gonna have to recast all the characters. I think they also recast Mary Magdalene, or Mary, I think his mother Mary, who is played by Monica Bellucci, and they recast her as well. So it looks like the whole cast is going to be new, and I think this is sad news for this film. It actually makes me less interested in seeing it, only because I felt like the connection to the original has been lost due to this recasting. But we're going to have to wait and see until we see a trailer and stuff like that. But let me know what you guys think about this. Are you sad that Jim Caviezel is no longer going to be starring as Jesus in the Resurrection of Christ? Me personally, not really interested in the movie anymore because of that. And I know that's really sad to say, but it's just how I feel. I thought Jim Caviezel did phenomenal in the original, and I think he was deserving of doing it again, even though he looks a lot older. I don't think it would have affected me all that much. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. All right, guys. Hopefully, I don't struggle through these last two, so let's see what happens. But our next movie news topic is regarding Warner Brothers Discovery has rejected a $20 share takeover bid from Paramount Skydance. Let's go ahead and take a look here and get to you guys some of the details. Warner Brothers Discovery turned down a $20 a share acquisition bid from David Ellis's Paramount Skydance, citing valuation concerns despite a recent 36% stock surge following merger speculation. So they basically said that they feel that it's worth more than what they're getting offered at $20 a share. Paramount Skydance, backed by Larry Ellis, who is the second richest man in the world, if I'm not mistaken, and in talks with Apollo Global Management, seeks to expand its content portfolio amid industry-wide calls for consolidation, aligning with Warner Brother Discovery CEO David Zavzav's view. Hold on, lost my spot. The rejected bid comes as Warner Brothers Discovery prepares for a split into two entities next spring. Warner Brothers, which will focus on streaming and the studio work, and Discovery Global, which will focus on TV networking and Discovery Plus, potentially reshape future acquisition dynamics. So there's a lot going on here regarding this. So I think that Warner Brothers Discovery, and they're probably correct about this, they feel that they're probably going to be worth more when they split into two. Having one entity be the main Warner Brothers hub, being just studio focus and streaming focus, will probably make them more valuable just being those two entities. And the reason for that, actually, well, you'll lose value, but the reason for it being more valuable in the long run is because there's only two things focused on: a lot of TV and networking doesn't necessarily bring in a lot of money, and there's a lot of debt involved regarding TV and marketing. There's a lot of debt involved regarding studios and streaming as well. So I think they're going to be able to split the debt up and split any issues up regarding having those two things be under one roof house. So I know probably Paramount and Skydance wants to purchase them as a whole so they can get all those TV and networking rights, trying to get it all at once before they split into two. But they're probably going to be more valuable and more appealing to other services like Netflix, Universal, and stuff if it's just studio and just streaming. It depends also on what kind of TV networking rights are going to be transferred over. My assumption is everything that was Warner Brothers before Discovery bought them is going to maintain. So any type of TV rights or anything like that are going to stay under the studio banner, and everything Discovery when it comes to their home networking stuff, their food networking stuff, whatever the hell that they work on TV wise when it came to Discovery Plus, that's going to be its own little entity as well. So I think they're regretting merging it in the first place. So that's probably why they're splitting it up into two, and they're probably going to be throwing other things that the studio doesn't need into that other banner as well to kind of save them from having debt issues like I mentioned before. So there's a lot going on when it comes to that. But this bid at $20 a share, I think that makes an evaluation at around $50 billion. So that's very interesting right there in itself. So I'm very curious at what the final bid will end up being. And I know that this is kind of making Warner Brothers more appealing to other studios as well. I hope someone like Apple comes in and swoops this up, because I feel Apple, even though they are doing their own thing and they're doing very good, for them to come over take over Warner Brothers would be very beneficial for them, because not only do they gonna focusing on making great content themselves, but they're gonna have a whole studio ready to go with a bunch of different IPs that they can focus on, including DC. So that'd be very interesting what's going on over here. But we're gonna have to wait and see what ends up happening in the long run. With Larry Ellis backing them, they have all the money in the world. So we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening. But let me know what you guys think about this so far in the comments down below. Do you think it's smart for David Zaslav and the team over there at Warner Brothers to deny a $20 share bid? Do you think they're worth more than $50 billion? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All right, guys, moving over to our last movie news topic of the day. And our last movie news topic of the day is regarding The Rise of Skywalker. Cost nearly $600 million to making it one of the most expensive films ever. Now, I'm not sure exactly where they got their numbers here, but let's go ahead and take a look here. A new figure shows that Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker cost $593.7 million to produce, far above the previous $416 million budget, ranking it as the third most expensive film ever made. Disney reclaimed $103.8 million through the UK tax incentives, reducing the net cost to $489.9 million, still $70 million higher than the previous believed, but ultimately profitable from the box office and merchandising. With Disney Plus shifting focus back to theatrical releases, upcoming Star Wars films include The Mandalorian and Grogu, Starfighter with Ryan Gosling, Daisy Ridley's New Jedi Order, which I don't think is going to be happening, and James Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi. So a lot of information here. They rounded up to $600 million. Now, mind you, tax incentives and stuff, it ended up being around the $500 million mark with $489 million. But even that is a bit ridiculous. Now, I know the movie made its money back, but still, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, the Star Wars box office did this. All right. You had The Force Awakens, which did absolutely wonderful. The Last Jedi, which no one liked and was critically banned, or at least by the fans. And then The Last Jedi, which again dropped in box office and didn't do very well. Still profitable, but still didn't do very well as far as critically. So with the movie costing around $600 million or $500 million, depending on if you're worried about tax incentives, we'll just call it $500 million. So a movie costing that much money, not including marketing, mind you. I don't think this included marketing at all. So you want to think about it as another probably $300 to $250 million in marketing, especially for a big budget film like that. they of course made money and they of course broke even, but still, that kind of makes sense why they didn't make any more movies really after this, because with a movie that costs that much money, the fans not very happy with what you've done with Star Wars and feel like you've ruined the franchise overall. And then yeah, you don't want to make movies. You want to pause and break and move on and have fan build up for excitement again for the franchise. Now, Mandalorian has done very successful on Disney Plus. Sadly, I don't think the last season was very good, but maybe Mandalorian and Grogu will turn out to be a great film. I hope so. And Andor doing very successful. So hopefully them being in Star Wars back to the big screen will be very beneficial for the studio, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. But they need to not make budgets like this for these films. It's ridiculous. Now, I know Star Wars is a huge franchise and deserves a lot of backing, but having a budget of that size for a movie is ridiculous. They need to really rein it in and focus on making great product and not focus on just throwing money at the issue. But we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening. Hopefully, we're going to continue to get good Star Wars content, good Star Wars movies. I feel like they should do a prequel again, focusing on, uh, the Skywalker family, focusing on Luke and what he's been doing in between his time and the stupid ass place that he was and whatever Ryan Johnson did with him. But who knows? Or they can go jump forward a couple thousand years and focus on what's it called, the Old Republic or whatever. I There's so many things that they can do with Star Wars, and they're just focusing on small aspects of this universe, and it's kind of ridiculous at this point. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think this is accurate, that the budget for the film was around $500 million or ballooned up to that much? Or do you guys think that they're a bit over exaggerating? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And what Star Wars movie or what Star Wars project are you looking forward to next? I'm curious to know what you guys think. All right, guys. Now that's a wrap for today's episode of the Truly Odd Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. And always, guys, remember, stay true, be odd.